Moin, I'm Catherine and today I'm in bed with my favorite books of the month of November, and I was totally uninspired. This is the third video in a row I'm filming today, and as you see, I did not change anything with my hair or my wonderful fun fact. If you want to know something, I'm never getting that personal because I just think my private life is private. But fun fact, if you see me wearing this, I didn't come around to color my hair. So, just in case you wonder why I'm wearing a beanie in bed, my hair isn't colored and looks stupid. So, you have to fall in love with the beanie. I'm in love with my beanie. Back to the November. I've read and listened to 11 books, and I'm going to tell you about 6 of those that I liked or almost liked or think are worth talking about. The first one I'm going to tell you about is The World to Come by Dara Horn, which is about this guy who writes questions for a television game show, and his family owned a picture by Chagall, and that is forged or gets forged, is stolen or is not stolen, is repossessed or is not repossessed. You will have to read the novel to get to the bottom of that. And there's a nice love story in there too, and it has a nice surreal ending. And I had this lying around on my TBR for quite some time and never got around to reading it, and it took me some time to get into the story, but then I totally loved it and gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then I've listened to the new John Green novel, Turtles All the Way Down. And I have to admit that I didn't love it that much. I somehow didn't get that much into the story, maybe because it's a little bit close to home. It's about this girl who suffers from OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. And if you don't know what that is, it's like typically in films, you will see people who have to wash their hands 10 times before they can leave the house, or turn the key 3 times, stuff like that. That's obsessive compulsive disorder. And I think John Green has or had some troubles with this too, and this explains why I thought that he described her troubles in a very realistic way. That's something I really liked about the story. But still, I didn't get that much into it. I was considering giving it 2 stars or 3 stars, something in between. And then I thought about all the YA crap I've read and listened to in the last couple of years, and I thought, in comparison to that, this is still brilliant. So it's at least a 3.5 or a 4-star read, because I also liked the ending. So I'm just going officially to say 4 stars, although my personal impression was somehow lower than that. Next up is The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein, and I've listened to this because Amy from Two Paper Girls, like one of the few booktube channels I actually watch when I watch. I haven't watched in such a long time, but I like those two. And Amy is a huge fan of this novel, so I gave it a try and I liked it okay, and I think I might have liked it better, but there's a lot of mean stuff going on in the novel, and as my life has been, people have been mean to me this year, so I had some trouble with that. And in general, I have trouble with mean things. I have trouble with unrealistic villains, and the villains in this novel aren't that unrealistic, but I think at some points it's over the top. In general, it's told from the perspective of a dog who feels like a human and is sure he's going to be born again as a human in his next life. And that is brilliantly told. And he talks about the story of his owner who has a kid and someone tries to take the kid away from him. I think I could tell you that much. And I had really some trouble with the taking the kid away part. The ending was very nice. In the end, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. But now I've listened to another of his novel that I did not like at all, and that somehow also, I don't know, made this a little bit worse for me. But in itself, if you like something interesting, new perspective, I think the twist with the dog telling the story is really nice. So you might give this a try. Then I've listened to All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater, and I have to say that I even don't know what her first series is called anymore. I remember trying to listen to it a few years back, and I absolutely did not like it. And then a friend of me got me into the Raven Cycle, and I loved the Raven Cycle, which you may know if you watched any of my last videos or any of my top 5 videos. And so I decided to give this a try. This is a standalone novel, and if you wonder if Maggie Stiefvater is able to write standalone stories, novels, she is brilliantly. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, and it's about this boy who wants to do good things with his life, and he somehow ends up in a village with healers and a saint. You have to read the novel to know why I'm doing this. And where people end up who did something and have to get healed to become themselves again somehow. And it focuses on some of those people, and I just loved it. It's just brilliantly told. The characters are super nice. The ending is super nice. Just everything about this is super nice. That's also why this ended up in my top 5 books of 2017 that I just filmed, that I'm going to link in the corner. Also, I've listened to Honestly Ben by Bill Konigsberg, and I didn't realize that this is the second part in a series. Which doesn't matter because you can totally listen to it or read it as standalone. And I only gave it 2 out of 5 stars because the characters didn't interest me at all. The story was okay, but what I really liked about the story, it's like a coming out story of this guy, and it's not really a coming out story because he says that he feels like he's heterosexual, but he still falls in love with his best friend, and he's struggling not to be labeled as gay because he just doesn't feel gay. He's just in love with his best male friend. And I really like that about the story, that it's trying to get away from labels. And in November, I've had the luck to stumble upon this novel, and I just filmed this top 5 fantasy video with my top 5 books of 2017, and I'm also saying in the novel that this is called The Collected Works of AJ Hickory, which this is called, but this was the first published as The Collected Works of AJ Hickory, but is now called and published as The Storied Life of AJ Hickory. So if you're confused, it's the same story, it's the same novel, just the first version is called The Collected Stories of, The Collected Works of, and the new one is called The Storied Life of AJ Hickory. And if you watch this video that I've just linked in the corner, then you will hear me say that this is my top book of 2017. It's about this guy who owns a bookshop and his wife dies of cancer. And then one day he finds a baby girl in his bookstore and decides to adopt her, and how that changes his life. There's also a love story coming into it. There's also a nice twist at the ending, or a nice revelation at the ending. And all in all, it's just a really fantastic novel for everyone. Just read it, honestly. I gave it, as you can imagine, 5 out of 5 stars, which I very, very rarely do. I think this is the last video for me for this year. You're probably going to see this wrap up next year because I have some other stuff to publish first. So just in this case, Happy New Year! And let's see what 2018 brings in regards of books, novels, life, everything. But nevertheless, and never forget to support your local book dealer. Moin, I'm Catherine, and today I'm in bed with Laura said.
Hi!
So we are here to talk about a book I love very, very much. It's called
Tell the Wolves I'm Home by Carol Rivka Brun.